Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana. You found us on whatever podcast app you're using, and we are live.
YouTube.com/@PoisonRanaPod.
That's right.
Hello,
Look at that.
tadpoles. How we doing?
Nailed it.
Yes.
Tadpoles.
It's
Look
only
at
been,
us.
3 months now?
Yeah, exactly. Hit that subscribe, whatever app you're using, YouTube, podcast, all that fun stuff. Hello, welcome. It's a Sunday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're recording this. It's the Frog's Day. Leap my frog. We're recording this, and then we're jetting off afterwards to
The Opera House. We're shooting off.
Yeah, we're gonna be on our worst behavior
Yeah.
for GCW in Toronto after this. So some thoughts on this probably on Tuesday on Up Next. We'll give some little live notes from this show. So yeah, fun day for us.
How far back are we standing? Are you wanting blood on you today? Are you wanting light tube dust in your eyes today?
I need to go
are we
home.
just chilling a little further back?
If I don't have thumbtacks in my shoes by the end of the show, like, what's the point of even going?
All right, that's where we're at.
So,
Is it? Okay.
yeah. No, I think the back is fine.
I like the back.
Yeah. I'm not too much into blood. On getting it on me. Watching it, it's fine. So we're gonna go to GCW and have some fun there in their first Toronto show. So we're super excited about that. So we're having a fun day.
Lots of wrestling these next few weeks. We've got a lot going on.
Lots of wrestling. Yeah, be sure to follow us in all the socials and stuff if you don't already, because the next little while is going to be go, go, go. It's WrestleMania. It means people are super into wrestling right now. It's the hottest it's ever been, it feels like, for quite a long time, at least. I mean, once you have a huge WrestleMania match, main event, everyone just, like, everything kind of else seems okay in a weird, strange world. I feel like not as hyped for Manias in the past few years. Definitely.
Really?
Like the past few years, a few different Manias, I've not, certain things, but this one I'm like, okay.
Oh, sorry, you are the most
Yeah,
hyped. Oh,
I am the most
me
hyped.
too,
Sorry,
absolutely. I think they've got the biggest main event they've had for years. And I think we'll get into the build for some of it, because I'm not thrilled about some of the build for the other matches,
right?
But I think on paper a lot of the matches look pretty good this year.
And
as we saw last year was maybe a weaker card that actually really over delivered. Like, I voted, I think night one my pay-per-view of the year last year, so
it was good.
I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, WrestleMania season's in full effect, and we're gonna dive into everything going on in the world of wrestling today. But if you are in the Toronto area, GTA area, well, WrestleMania weekend, we're throwing a poison party, baby. WrestleMania 2-night watch party at Gabby's, downtown Toronto, King Street West. Poisonrana.ca for our landing page for all the links to everything there. But we're going to be hanging out both nights of Mania, downtown Toronto, at your bar.
Yep.
And we're taking over, and it's going to be, we're going to have all the screens playing wrestling. We're going to have trivia. We have some crazy prizes.
The prizes just keep coming in.
Like a week ago, I said the prizes were crazy.
Yeah.
The prizes are even crazier now.
And lots of opportunities to win stuff.
Yeah.
So absolutely come along. It's going to be really fun. We're taking over the bar. And I know you had a lot of success last year when you hosted this at Sneaky Bees. This, I think it's an even better setup. We've got a lot of screens,
Lots of it.
lots of opportunities to mingle and have some fun. We've got some great cocktails on the go, wrestling themed drinks.
The Samoan Spike.
The Samoan Spike, yes. The classic Poisonrana cocktail as well. It's going to be great. Don't wait too long. Don't wait till it's too late and have it sold out and not have a seat with a view. Get your tickets, poisonrana.ca. We still have a few combo tickets left, which saves you a little bit of money if you want to come for both nights. Buy that combo ticket. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, don't show up at 8 either. Last year, people showed up at 8 like, oh, where can I sit? I don't know.
Yeah, also, we want to watch the show. So, like, don't be messing us around during, like, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew. Like, I'm going to be sitting down slamming some bangers after bangers. Yeah,
exactly. So we're going to have a party, and, well, it's not going to be the only party we're throwing this year.
Oh, no.
Because if you know us, we live the gimmick. We love hanging out and doing these fun things. And I mean, WrestleMania is not coming to our town, so we had to throw on our own party, to a watch party. But there is a certain...
Are we getting into this now? Have we finished the plugs?
I mean, we haven't finished the plugs, but I mean, this is just the precursor to... If you're thinking of making the trip to Toronto in a few months, be rest assured, we're throwing a party.
We'll have you sorted in June.
Yeah.
June 24th, June 25th, we're going to have you covered.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Everyone's gonna be okay. It's gonna be insane. But yeah, WrestleMania watch party. Look forward to that. We will be at the Awesome Toy Show next Sunday, so we probably won't be going live next Sunday because we're gonna be busy hosting a 2K tournament at the Awesome Toy Show, awesometoyshow.ca. It just recently moved venues. I don't have it open there, but go to the website there. It's not too far from the original venue.
Yeah, demand's been high for
Yeah.
this tournament, so we've moved.
Yeah,
we've
that's
moved
right.
to a bigger venue.
Yeah, you want a chance to go to WrestleMania or $200 cash prize, and plus some other stuff as well. We're gonna be hosting this 2K23 tournament, and it's gonna get
Ugly.
It's gonna get really it's gonna get heated for sure. I'm excited to go to this thing. There's gonna be Chris Van Vliet is gonna be there as well, doing a Q&A, a few Impact wrestlers, and then like lots of toys. And I know Comic-Con right now is happening
Just
right
happening
outside
at
our
the moment,
house,
yeah.
our apartment right now. But I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna be doing some digging on some old figures next weekend. But yeah, if you're in the Toronto area, Awesome Toy Show, we will be there.
And as Braden said, no live Poisonrana next week. We have no idea how long this thing's going to go on for. We will put something up on this feed.
Yeah, maybe Sunday night.
Probably like our kind of thoughts on the event and obviously cover any sort of big stories. But not your traditional Poisonrana show next Sunday.
Yeah. As I accidentally click stop record.
Come
on
on
Logic.
now.
Wow, how long have I been doing this for? So yeah, we have lots of stuff going on and we're super excited. So yeah, follow all the socials, especially the Instagram. We still only have like 200 people. I know we have more than 200
Everyone
people.
has Instagram these days.
Go follow us.
Your nan has Instagram.
Yeah, tell her to follow us.
Yeah. We've had a bunch of free stuff this last week or so on this very feed. I put out just a week ago an interview with Jesse V, who's just in the main event of Superkicked that happened this Friday in Toronto. So
Pour one out. He lost the title.
he did, yeah, he didn't retain, unfortunately. So go and listen to that. Also had new episodes of What Up Doe with Cena and B Detroit, where they talk about, hip hop in wrestling, video games, all pop culture, as well as a bit of wrestling chat there. Those two have fantastic chemistry. I love listening to that show.
My new favorite show.
As well as you just put out an episode of Detox with Jordan Goodman, which is a very personal episode this week, I'd say, with Jordan going through a loss in his family and talking a bunch about that. But also, don't worry, like they go off the walls as well and talk about horses' penises and stuff.
What? We would never.
Great listen between Jordan and Braden there.
Yeah, lots of shows. We have you covered for those long drives, those commutes, those walks, those hot showers, whatever it is that you do listen to. Check out all the free shows. But if you do like us even more, patreon.com/Poisonrana. This week, what did we do? We did a review of Tango and Cash last week, which was fun because I know Kurt Russell just turned 72 on St. Patrick's Day. And if St. Patrick's Day is your jam, we just did Leprechaun 3.
Oh, yes.
We sat through this 90-minute film and talked all about it. So
We put out the schedule, and then it was like, last Sunday after Poisonrana, and I was like, Braden,
St. Patrick's Day.
you realize St. Patrick's Day is coming up. We've got to continue the tradition.
We got to.
I didn't drink a Guinness this year, but I did record a review about Leprechaun in Vegas.
Yeah, so it counts. Yeah. Leprechauns in Vegas. That was a great review. So that's up on the Patreon. It is WrestleMania season. Next week, we're going to be reviewing WrestleMania 19 as fan member patron Jake from the Windy City has picked WrestleMania 19, I think, is one of his favorites. I think it's many people's favorites.
It's one of my favorites,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen it for a while, so I'm quite looking forward to this one.
So get your feedback in for that next week. We'll be recording this coming up on Wednesday. But we just did a WrestleMania review with John Cena. We had our buddy on, our executive producer, if you will, and he wanted to chat about this show that he says not enough podcasts have covered, which it is true. Not a lot of people have covered this, meaning John and Way haven't even talked about it.
The only podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only ones I listen to. So Cena was at this event, WrestleMania 11. From Hartford, Connecticut. We get some deep info on his travels there, how he got there,
how he missed the Allied Powers against the Blue Twins.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be gutted.
Gutted.
I have a friend who decided to go for a toilet break when the streak was broken. I don't know what I'd be more mad about, missing the end of the streak or missing.
Oh my god!
What Eli Blue and
Dude, that
Uncle
was
Zebekiah.
so much. Remember, you were at a takeover once, and you like called me, and I'm like, "Oh my god, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly." You're like, "Huh? I'm in the washroom." I'm like,
piss.
"You just missed Undisputed Era's debut, missing the streak." Oh my god, what a bad time to go piss. Oh my god. So yeah, Cena comes on and we chat with him about the forgotten WrestleMania, NFL versus WWF, if you will. Jonathan Taylor,
Right
Thomas.
here, we're waiting for you. We're here.
Pamela Anderson. What else? We just go off on the 90s, really. 1995 was a great year, but not so much for wrestling.
And also, who would win in a fight between Macaulay Culkin and, sorry, what's the name? JTT?
JTT. Look at that. You're calling him on a short.
Because I literally couldn't remember his name. Like, is it Jason? Is it Jacob?
The flow, the golden flow. Yeah, that was a great podcast, and Cena is fantastic. So go check that out on our Patreon. It's only $5 a month to become a friend, and you get access to everything we're talking about, but access to everything in that back catalog, all the different podcasts out there, and yeah, we're podcasting a lot.
Right, shall we dive into the show?
Yes, let's dive into some stuff that's going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Well, let's start off with something you've already alluded to, and that is Forbidden Door 2. AEW announced this week that they're going to embark on a Canadian tour, with obviously kind of the headline being Forbidden Door taking place in Toronto. We can literally see the venue right now as we're recording this show. It's very close, right in the heart of downtown at the Scotiabank, as well as doing events in like Saskatoon, in Edmonton, and a special house rules show at the Saddle Dome in Calgary as part of the Calgary Stampede. I can imagine them trying to play off a lot of nostalgia from the Canadian Stampede, one of the highest regarded WWF pay-per-views back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know if we're live right now.
We should be.
I see the chat being like, "Hey, where are you guys?"
Where's the feedback? I don't see anything wrong right now.
Weird. Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
You hear us?
I don't think we're live right now.
Should be. Yes.
Oh no. It says waiting. Oh, there we go. There's a delay. Okay, we're okay.
Okay, Megan, you're messing with us.
I saw Megan say, "Hey, what's going on?"
So it's Megan's internet there, I think.
Or maybe it was ours. I don't know.
Everything seems good on our end. But yes, Forbidden Door 2, as well as this Calgary show, it's pretty big news, and I think deserved. We were a little disappointed, I think, with the Canadian output last year, and this is definitely a make good, and super excited for Forbidden Door.
Yeah, not only Forbidden Door being announced for Toronto, Scotiabank, which is a huge venue here. They did not run this venue last time. This is what WWE runs their pay-per-views at. So that's, it's a bit bigger than but this is the venues they run in the States. They run some pretty big ones, right? But doing a whole tour of Canada.
And I think we've seen this in recent years with both companies, but going to markets that are underserved. We've just had the Winnipeg show this week, and that crowd in that main event was so hot.
Yeah.
And I think going to places like, Edmonton, where they don't get hit so much anymore. Calgary, for sure, barely gets a go. Saskatoon and Saskatchewan and all that. I think it's good. I think you're going to have really rabid fans at these tapings that just haven't really been exposed to live wrestling too much.
Yeah, how many times can you go to Chicago, right? How many times can you go to the same places that they keep going to? It's no wonder the crowds are not that excited, because why would they be, right? So when you do open up to different places, I'm sure that it gets there's got to be some people just waiting, so thirsty to just go and support something that they love watching every week, and to kind of see them with the success of Winnipeg. That crowd was super hot. Of course, you have Jericho and Kenny and Don Callis being the homeboys and getting that big reaction. But it felt special, and it came across that way on TV. And now with this whole tour of Saskatoon, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And closer to home, they're doing a Dynamite in Hamilton.
Yeah, so we're fully intending on attending both Forbidden Door and the Hamilton Dynamite.
Yeah.
We will, if you know us from previous events, we try our best to throw a bit of a party.
Right.
So keep your eyes out, because we're absolutely going to have plans for pre and post parties for absolutely Forbidden Door, but maybe something in Hamilton as well for Dynamite.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be going to both those things. We were looking at flights to Calgary for that Stampede. Not that cheap, but it is during the Stampede,
Yeah,
which I've
that
always
sounds a
wanted
lot
to
of
go
fun.
to, but I just don't know. But Forbidden Door, yeah, that whole weekend, I can rest assured Toronto's going to be bumping with some wrestling.
So I think it's time to get carried away and maybe start trying to book some dream matches for this show.
Yeah.
Last year's show was one of the best shows of the year. Many people voted it their show of the year. The build, not so much. I hope we get a few corrections on that this year. Maybe a little less, 8-mans and 6-mans and some real kind of proper singles feuds is what I'm looking for.
I still think you're going to get these like 8-mans and stuff like that.
Which were fun.
Which
last
were
year,
really fun.
But like maybe try and build them up a little better this time.
I mean, is the like the big one people are holding out for the rematch? Omega, Osprey 2. Could that potentially happen?
So you're saying Meltzer apparently reported that that's a possibility?
Yeah, yesterday on the Observer, they were saying like, hey, they are looking into maybe doing that match. I know Osprey is injured right now,
Yeah.
but
I think that's I think that makes sense. I had a feeling when the Tokyo Dome one was booked, it'd be like, well, you can have this if we can have this.
right.
I find it curious that we haven't had any update about AEW in London. That was mentioned in November. We're
Right.
talking 5 months
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
That show was mentioned. And with Osprey being a big British import,
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe Forbidden Door at one point was discussed for London.
Yeah.
That's just me theorizing here.
Yeah.
I could totally see Osprey getting his win over Kenny in London of being a thing. We're now on Kenny's home turf in in Winnipeg's neighbor, Toronto. But yeah, I'd absolutely love to see that match. If Danielson he did that I'm Going Home promo last week, I think if he wanted a bit of a rest, Zack Sabre Jr. running his mouth and calling him out and bringing him out of his sort of kayfabe retirement
Right.
to face him, that match needs to happen.
That has to be the
we
match.
needed to have that. We were meant to have that last year.
It has to be the match. Like just because it's been built and teased for so long, like just that's naturally easily. I think everyone could agree that's probably the only surefire match that's actually happening. Like that we could go, okay, well that one's gonna be happening. Where like other ones, it's like, okay, well, who does MJF face?
Yeah.
Right? Like is it MJF Okada? Is it champ versus champ? They did not do that last year.
I can see them doing the same thing as they did last year with having both defended separately.
So it's Tanahashi versus MJF.
It could be Tanahashi again. Who would the other options be? Like who makes most sense character wise against MJF? I guess it would be a Tanahashi, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like the wrestling purist, super baby face.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. Tana getting another shot.
Yeah, MJF just beating up Tana would be the thing. Okada versus last year, Okada did the 4-way, that unfortunate injury with Adam Cole, but Okada versus anyone else on this like roster, really.
Yeah, you
Who's a big enough
could
name?
do a multi-man again, I guess. I'm trying to think. Your main guys would be Hangman, would be Adam Cole, would be I don't really see any of the pillars necessarily challenging Okada. Yeah. Okada, is more of a question mark for me.
Yeah, last year they just randomly threw him in this because it's like, well, we can get him on the card and he doesn't need to lose. He's not losing, right?
The other thing is, if Punk is coming back, do you go to Punk Tanahashi?
Because they teased that last year.
They were meant to have that last year.
I don't think we see Punk.
Or would you have Punk challenge Okada?
Yeah, I feel like that's a waste of Okada.
On Punk?
Like,
think
he's
that's
not
huge.
losing. He's not losing. He's the champ.
Okada.
And you wouldn't have Punk lose, so I would not see that.
I could see Punk losing. Or getting screwed out to set up an angle within AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your likes of like Shingo? Do you see him more so in a multi-man or?
See, there's someone like if they don't go to Osprey Omega, which I do think they should go to that rematch, is just that would just blow people's minds again. But Shingo versus Omega would be pretty cool. A Shingo versus MJF would also be pretty cool if that's the fact. I know Shingo's not really in that title picture right now, but
And Shingo's someone who can lose. I
yeah,
think.
exactly. That's how New Japan kind of does it. They would not just book Okada to lose a match. That's just not something they do.
I see Orange Cassidy definitely having
Ishii, Orange Cassidy.
Ishii, Orange Cassidy, Chaos members.
Shibata, Orange Cassidy rematch.
That would be good.
Get Mike Tyson back for commentary.
Shibata's facing
Yuta
right?
Wheeler on Ring of Honor
Yeah,
pay-per-view, which
that sounds pretty
awesome.
pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Still not being booked in New Japan, which is interesting.
Yeah, true. Yeah, dream matches for Forbidden Door. Let them come in at us, if you will, because like there's so many different potentials now. And
Aussie Open FTR is something I'd do.
There's
you
no other
had the show
teams.
in London, have it on a bigger stage. Aussie Open starting to have a few AEW appearances when they're not kind of busy in Japan.
Yeah.
So that would be something.
Just 5 guys versus QTV.
Sure.
Just 5 guys.
I mean, like you've got your champions are probably going to be on it. So like a powerhouse Hobbs could see maybe like a Jeff Cobb, like just a bit of a Hoss fight there.
Yeah.
You've got your potential sort of New Japan women's division now crossover with Stardom.
Mone.
Perhaps Mone.
She made some references about the show the other day.
Yeah, she asked when is the date. I could see Mone, Britt Baker. You could have 2 women's matches, and then Jamie could defend against like a Mayu or a Suri or a Julia or something like that.
Interesting.
Would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
Julia, Jamie Hayter would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Like
any of
2
those
horses.
Yeah,
like that,
any of those big names, like the power wrestlers there. They have some that could be pretty sweet. I'm super excited. Obviously, this being announced for our backyard here, we're hyped, but this is only in a few months in later June. So yeah, we're gonna be going to a lot of wrestling this year, the Canadian tour, and I'm sure we got some Canadian listeners out there. Let us know what shows you're hitting up this summer.
It's like when I was listening to Detox the other day, and you saying when bands are announcing all their kind of summer tours and stuff, and it's getting me excited. Oh, a nice June pay-per-view. I'm gonna be in my shorts, gonna be in my watermelon shirt. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have some bevies. We're gonna go and see some wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. So start booking now. If you're thinking about it.
Yeah, accommodation in the city's expensive, so don't leave it too late, especially in the summer. If you're thinking of coming down, get a group together, get an Airbnb, get in now.
Yeah, definitely. We're super hyped, and we will again getting closer. We're cooking something up for that week. The 6th.
Let's go to a bit of AEW Dynamite, which kicked off this week with a rebar mitzvah. MJF kind of being rebar mitzvahed. Sorry, I don't know the proper term.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov. This was pretty fun.
Yeah, MJF doing his best. Aubrey Graham here getting rebar mitzvahed. He comes out with the ladies on his arms, the white and blue balloons, the suit, the outfit. Everything was just awesome with this. The visuals were great.
Do they call them the chosen ones or something? Ran in with the chairs, so did the chair dance and then hoisting MJF in the air.
I love this.
He then swapped out his what's it called, the skull cap
for
the Burberry
like bucket hat,
like Jamiroquai.
Yeah, the fuzzy bucket hat, which is just popular in wrestling right now.
Ridiculous. A lot of fun here. Coming out with, I mean, he had strippers at his actual bar mitzvah, and coming out with some lovely ladies for this before being interrupted by the Pillars.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were saying last week on this show, like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if they interrupted him? And that's exactly the way they went with it. I mean, before they interrupted, I was loving the segment. To see the visual of him getting thrown in the air, it was just so funny. But then, these 3 guys coming out, and I thought everyone sounded good.
Me too.
Like, I thought even Sammy Guevara had his digs and got in there. I like Sammy Guevara. I just don't tell people I like Sammy
Sammy's recircumcision line was good. It's weird because he is a heel, so he kind of was getting like good reactions for the first time in forever, and then was still like, but fuck you.
And
guys.
then he's like, and these dumb Canadians, boo.
I thought Jungle Boy sounded really. Everyone like clearly like planned out some lines, some singers there, and it was almost like the roast of MJF. I thought Davie really stood out though. I really liked his promo.
We don't see him do a lot of those promos. If he ever talks, it's usually in like backstage or pre-edited kind of stuff. So to see him talk with a live mic was different.
I think he's good. He's got a very different style, but it's very like authentic to him. And kind of sort of saying about, you know, all these grown-ass wrestlers complaining and bitching about their contracts and stuff, and like, well, I'm going to be here forever and I want that gold.
Yeah.
He's definitely the most elevated of the three. I think they've done a good job with him and with Jungle Boy of kind of like Jungle Boy beating Christian. Yeah, it makes sense. Now he's got his sights on gold. Sami, I think, could have done better work with him in the last few months. He's been very much like just faction fodder.
Yeah.
I think if this was more so off the back of his TNT title run, there'd be more of a claim. But I think, do you see this as Double or Nothing, or do you see this as a TV?
I see this as a big TV main event that they set up possibly like in a few weeks and leading to something. I mean, if it is the Double or Nothing match too, cool. But I would imagine that there's another main event at that show.
Well, you'll have likely an Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing as well, which could possibly, which we'll get into.
I'm super into this match. Yeah. I love all four of these guys ever since started watching AEW. They've been four characters I've loved to watch. So now in one match against each other, yeah.
And these three guys have had my favorite MJF matches.
All three have fought him, right?
All three have had incredible matches with MJF.
Yeah.
The Derby one being my favorite, but he's had a couple of really good ones with Jungle Boy. Had that great one with Sammy Guevara on TV.
Yeah.
I think this match will be awesome.
All these guys helped elevate MJF to the next level, right? He did the same, but he's definitely the one that you know, stepped up out of the thing. But I think all four of them could put on a pretty great match, and leading up to it, maybe some more promos, maybe some matches and things like that. Like, I think giving
you could always run some singles matches to like get here and
get Sammy some heat there. Like have Sammy do something that kind of, you know, gets him put in that position. But I think having the match is awesome and would help everyone. I loved how Jungle Boy was like, "Yo, Max, you never even wrestled on Dark." Yeah. He's like,
didn't
bro,
even do Rampage.
He's like, bro, I don't even watch Dark. I thought that was one of the worst digs. You haven't wrestled on Elevation. I'm like, sorry, is that one of their shows again? Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
It's more putting out as like being a company guy, right, and doing those matches.
I'm super excited for this match whenever it does happen. But I loved this whole segment.
You don't often have the sort of 20-minute speaking opener for Dynamite, and I think this was one that really worked. We mentioned the other week about Goldberg looking for his retirement match. Well, before the retirement, I think he needs to be rebar mitzvahed as well. I think that would be a fantastic segment to set up Goldberg's final match.
Yeah, MJF has I was gonna say surpassed. I was gonna say circumsomething. Bill Goldberg as the all-time Jewish world champion.
The only thing I wish is if this was a different company, Paul Heyman being involved with this
absolutely
would have been fucking gold.
Am I like, imagine that pairing, Paul Heyman and MJF. Like, they don't need each other at all, but
it would be amazing.
Everyone else just run, just don't show up to work if those two were like in some weird multiverse. Paul Heyman is the rabbi at the rebar mitzvah of MJF.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
When MJF is in WWE in like 2030, we'll have that.
Teaching him reading the Torah, like that kind of thing would be beautiful, beautiful stuff that we need to see.
Mazel.
We then kicked off with a match between the Blackpool Combat Club, made up of Claudio, John Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, taking on a returning Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Adam Hangman Page in the Dark Order. Grayson, after this match being signed, he is once again all elite.
Yeah.
I thought this was a fantastic trios between these two.
Oh man, this match was awesome. And I mean, watching this, I don't speak for everyone, but I know we were watching and we were like, man, like, why did this guy ever leave? This guy's fantastic.
Yeah.
And to see, actually we've re-signed him. It's like, yeah, that's the right move. Like, he is just so good. He was on fire. He was the standout in this match. And all the way to the end. Him and Mox.
Yeah, during the match, you said, "Oh, just book Mox and Grayson," and they have for this Wednesday, which should be really good. But yeah, continuing this BCC like Hangman Page Dark Order feud. BCC now fully heel.
The thing is, they're heel because like they're doing bad guy stuff, but you know, you take this to any city in Canada this summer who've not seen wrestling or these stars in a long time. You're cheering Mox and Cesaro.
I mean, it's a star level thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It depends who they're up against. I think when they're up against a big baby face like a Hangman Page, I could see them, once Adam Cole starts wrestling again, I can see these guys getting booed. When they're like, you know, on Rampage taking on like Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, like that level of people, they are 100% getting cheered.
So, like, I love this match, and I'm guessing that the Hangman Mox thing is continuing, and we're kind of like, that's weird that would, when things might make a bit more sense later by the end of the episode. Still not fully, but then
but we can see what time of year it is and where we tend to go at this time of year. We also had a debut and someone else being made All Elite with Taya Valkyrie, Jade Cargill doing her whack-ass Canadian Open challenge, starting with Nicole Matthews.
Yeah, Nicole Matthews
got absolutely murdered.
Yeah, which is a shame. I know she hasn't wrestled in quite a while, but she used to be, she still is like a Canadian indie kind of star that's been doing it for quite a while. I've watched her quite a few times. Big fan. I think she was also in one of the Mae Young Classics, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
But she got absolutely squashed here, which you knew that wasn't just the person.
To set up something else. And yeah, Taya Valkyrie coming out to challenge Jade.
So Tony Khan said, "I did it, guys. I signed Mone."
Yes.
Too bad it was Frankie.
Yeah.
Frankie Mone.
Frankie Mone just made the wrong signing here.
I got a question. Where the fuck is her dog?
True. What was her dog's name?
Oh, my brain can't go that.
Please help.
There was only so much memory in my brain for her name, Frankie Mone.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the dog. But wasn't that the dog highlights of NXT for weeks?
Yeah. The promos for Frankie.
So Taya Valkyrie in AEW, yeah, I'm down.
I'm not the biggest fan of Taya's wrestling. She is solid. She is a vet, which I think having more veterans in the AEW women's is good. What I think she's good is she's a very comfortable character. Like, she knows her character very well. She's a very comfortable promo. And I think putting her in this TBS division rather than the main women's division is a good idea, because Jade hasn't had a meaningful feud for quite a while. It tends to be just a challenge of the week and squashing someone to rack up those wins. So I think Taya and Jade could actually have some really fun back and forth segments together before going to the match, which I would still assume Jade would go over.
Yeah.
But not a bad signing from AEW, because the women's division still needs work, and I think especially in kind of the Jade verse, she needs strong characters to be facing up against.
Yeah, someone like this makes sense, and yeah, Jade can go over, and at this point, I still think it's Statlander who's the one who's eventually beats her.
They've name dropped her a couple of times as well, haven't they?
I hope she comes back, because I'm a big fan of her. But yeah, does this mean maybe we'll get Johnny Dynamite showing back up here?
Yeah, he came, but he wasn't All Elite, was he? He came Double or Nothing last year.
Although I loved whatever he's doing at AAA. Remember the last Triple Mania I watched with John Morrison. He has a new name, and he has like a new entrance, and like he looked the best he's looked in a long time. So maybe we do see him return.
Do you see this stretching to Double or Nothing, Taya and Jade?
Probably not, but
because we're what, 2 months away, I think, from Double or Nothing.
Does the TBS title even need a pay-per-view slot? It didn't last time.
Didn't last time, but we did have the hour-long Iron Man match.
Oh, yeah,
so I would expect more matches booked for Double or Nothing.
True, yeah.
And then we have the first ever defense of the International Championship. Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett in his first AEW singles match.
Yes, Jeff Jarrett staying relevant as ever and still making wrestling fans mad, happy, feeling all the emotions. I mentioned earlier that we just did a review of WrestleMania 11 on our Patreon this week, and on that show is Intercontinental Champion Jeff Jarrett facing Razer Ramon. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, one of the most iconic IC champions, I think, of all time. One of the best. When you think of the IC title, he's definitely up. He's probably 4 on that list or something like that. Jericho to me.
Well, also making it more famous by having to, like, lose it to China before moving to WCW with the whole, like, pay dispute thing.
Yeah. So, like, again, so now having the... Sorry, what's it called? The AEW Shazam Shadow of the Gods.
Fury of the Gods International Championship.
Yeah, so I thought this was a pretty fun match, and call me crazy, but I was rooting for Double J just because I think it would get people even more heated. By the end of it, I was like, okay, no, Orange the champ. Let him retain.
I've seen a lot of criticism for this match for all the smoke and mirrors, but for me, it worked.
Yeah,
and I had such a fun time watching this. I'm in the camp who enjoyed the Triple H Sting match because of the bells and whistles and all that. Like, I thought it was ridiculous, but I had so much fun watching it. And I kind of felt the same with this. It was overbooked as fuck. You had like 2 ref bumps. You had
Satnam,
guitar shots.
Jay Lethal.
You had Satnam and Jay. Like, you had all of that. But I thought it made for some real great near falls where you did bite on Double J winning this. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I think Jeff Jarrett will win back. I think he will win this title eventually. It just makes sense. And then just replicate his run from back in the day. Give him a new roadie. I mean, he's got Jay Lethal, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Orange goes from this with this title. It seems very much a kind of open challenge style championship. I think he's done a good job with it, Orange. And I think I always enjoy watching his matches. And I think he's got the balance perfectly of his gimmick with actually, going out there and wrestling as well.
Yeah, but Jeff Jarrett is the champion, though.
It would be good.
Yeah.
Especially on these live tours. Did you see Mox fucking bled at this house show as well?
House rules, baby.
The guy needs to chill.
Yeah. That's nobody else saw it. Just the people here, man.
He's facing what, Peter Avalon or something? He's like, better bleed. Better fucking bleed.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous, but he was gonna. You paid to see him bleed, essentially, is what you do. But yeah, Jeff Jarrett will win a title in AEW one day, but this week wasn't his week.
We then had a huge main event here. Two of Winnipeg's sons, Kenny Omega and Jericho, going at it amongst like 20 other people. The House of Black defending the Trios Championships against the JAS and the Elite.
Yeah, this was pretty crazy as well. What a match. They gave it lots of time. The crowd were eating it up. Finally, for Kenny to have a hometown show. This is the biggest crowd he's ever performed in front of in his hometown. So, like, the emotions were pretty running wild. And the same can be said for Jericho. They haven't been there in a while. He's obviously been in AEW for, like, the past 3 years. So he's never done a hometown show. So to finally see that, like, come together, to finally have Winnipeg singing Judas, like, it felt right in the world. And I mean, Jericho,
Ted front row,
Ted sitting front row, Don Callis on commentary. What else could you do?
Kenny's gear
was fire.
And the like Canadian Elite gear for the Bucks as well.
Yeah, looked good. All Jets colors and stuff like that. Hey, Jericho even got his own street way named after him, Chris Jericho Way, which I'm shocked he didn't have one before. But
I thought they teased the encounter between Jericho and Kenny really well.
Yeah.
And like, because they kind of teased you with it like 2 or 3 times before they finally went to like the hockey fight.
Yeah. Which Jericho got punched in the face.
Oh yeah, and he got kneed that V trigger to the face. As well. It looked like it clocked him. But then seeing them team up, I think that's definitely something we're gonna have down the line of it. Maybe, I mean, I'm hoping for the like singles matches at Forbidden Door, but having like Jericho and Kenny versus Okada and Tanahashi in a tag match.
You're saying you want what? You want Kenny and Jericho to just one day be a tag team
up in Canada, taking on Okada and Tana.
Right.
I think like I'd want the singles matches, but I think you could go down that route for Forbidden Door.
I hope perhaps. Not. Yeah, I hope Kenny singles match for sure. I hope with hopefully Osprey. Yeah. But I did love
on TV.
Yeah,
that
I love seeing them.
Like I think there is something there. Watching them take down Brody King with that superplex, I'm like, these could be like. Can you imagine like V trigger into the code breaker kind of thing. I think there's some fun these two could have together.
I as much as Jericho's supposed to be the bad guy, like obviously he was gonna get cheered and become like this like superhero for this Winnipeg show. But like the Stampede show, which is also a house show, is one of the biggest, I think, venues they've been advertising. And like that, surely you would just book Jericho Omega 1-on-1 for that show, and people would absolutely, in Calgary, people would show up for that.
I think they'll do a 5-on-5. I think they'll recreate the Canadian Stampede.
That would be a pretty sweet thing. Yeah, the Combat Club with Punk leading the charge, possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Like that would kind of be it. Yeah, I love this what even is this? This 3-way trios match? Nine-man tag. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. I thought everyone was on point. Like the House of Black are fantastic, and I screamed bloody murder when I saw Jericho taking that Dante's Inferno bump.
Oh yeah.
And he was fine. It was Kenny Omega that fucked him up after.
Weird end though. Like there was like obviously House of Black were winning this.
Yeah.
This was their first title defense, but like the crowd was so loud for the whole thing, and it was absolute crickets at the end of the match.
What did they expect? Jericho to win? Like
yeah, I mean that's why you'd question why maybe book this match.
Yeah.
But you could have just done Elite versus JAS and pick like one of, like, obviously you're not pinning Kenny or you're not pinning Jericho.
Yeah.
But you could go the other way. Like you could pin one of the other guys. But then during this match, you had Blackpool Combat Club and the Dark Order still brawling. Silver and Reynolds getting involved, taking it to the ring. And then it looked like BCC were going to take out Hangman Page when the Elite had it back.
My heart.
As Dynamite goes off the air.
Yeah, as we're again screaming at the TV. Wait, what? Why are you cutting away? Stop it! Wait, leave the camera on. Which some people in the crowd got some footage of what happened after like the feed. But man, some great stuff. Even the way they were standing in the ring, like the positions were very similar to how they have done similar angles before with these four guys. Yeah, this has all my attention again. Let's remember, right now MJF is the main character of AEW, but it was Hangman Page, and they definitely fumbled that.
It's always been his story.
It's always been his story, and I blame CM Punk for kind of killing that momentum and that wave ever since, right? Like it forced people to pick kind of sides when really you don't really need to. But Hangman going back with the Elite would make a lot of sense right now, so that we can get to the big Blood and Guts or Stadium Stampede, and
so
move on.
I imagine this is going to be one of the either Anarchy in the Arena or Blood and Guts or both. So we've got 4 on one side and 3 on the other right now. Now the question is,
quick maths,
who is going to be the fourth man in BCC? Obviously you got Bryan Danielson. I don't see them turning him heel at this point.
Yeah.
So I see him remaining kind of as his character to go up against ZSJ. I don't see him being a heel for that. So if it's not Bryan Danielson, like I would suggest Punk if he's coming back. That might be a leap. That might be fan booking. But I think business-wise, Punk versus the Elite. Obviously, these are the 4 guys he was calling out. That dumb fuck Adam Hangman fucking Page. And the EVPs, Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah.
And, like, I think if you're going to try and get people to make up, you don't want Punk coming in here and be like, oh, we've got to keep you separate. You can never chat with these guys. I'd be like, right, you guys are figuring this out and you're working together.
Right. So,
Punk's tagged with Mox before. Punk is close with Claudio. I could see him perhaps. Maybe I'm getting carried away, but I think he'd be a viable option.
Yeah, like it's weird. I just don't see that being the way to bring him in. I would imagine Punk being with FTR is somehow like the unit there. I just don't think everyone's gonna be like, and again, not trying to be disrespectful, but no one's gonna be like, wow, I can't wait for CM Punk to come back and team with Wheeler Yuta. You know what I mean?
Okay, but Pop teaming with Yuta, but you got Mox there, you got Claudio facing against the Elite. I don't see them turning FTR heel, and I honestly believe Punk is coming back as a heel.
But he's gonna be cheered, so
you've got a big Long Island show coming up soon.
Right.
I would book him there. Like Long Island is established within AEW as enemy territory for CM Punk.
Yeah.
I think that the Elite are 100% baby faces. You have Punk return, like that venue, what is it, the UBS Arena or whatever, is a big venue. I think that's a big place you could bring out Punk, who would be seen as a heel. The FTR Punk thing down the line as a trios maybe, I don't see it working against the Elite right now necessarily.
I feel like I don't want to compare it, but like if he were to try to push himself as just a heel, of course you're gonna have your people split, but like Punk's been around for a lot longer than the Elite, and people will probably more so side with him. It's like when they really tried to turn Austin heel, right? It's like, well, no, he's the big star and we want to see him, so we're going to cheer for him. Yeah, well, he's beating people up and doing mean things. Yeah, but he's still...
also in that arena where they're allowed fuck CM Punk chants.
This is true.
You know, and I think he's a great babyface. I'd say he works better as a heel.
Look, I would love
think
that.
This is the opportunity to come back.
Like
for sure, there's going to be that pop because people are just happy that CM Punk's back. I think storytelling wise, it's way better and way juicier.
Hey, I agree with that. Me too. Like for me, I think he's in the wrong. So I would,
him coming back, playing up. I am the cancer of this company.
Yeah, and like
sort of thing.
You
but
know,
I'm the one who gets us deals with TNT, who keeps the money flowing.
Exactly. Yeah, I would like to see that. And then again, going back to poor Wheeler Yuta, but if you're booking 4-on-4 blood and guts or stadium stampede or whatever, Wheeler Yuta is getting injured and Danielson's coming back for the 4-on-4.
Maybe.
That makes way more sense with the history there. Again, sorry Wheeler Yuta, I do love you, but
if you were to make it a 5, like do you?
Oh yeah,
is
Takeshita. I mean, hold on a second here. If we're talking about 5-on-5, there's someone else who's not been really seen for a little while. I mean, come WrestleMania weekend, he'll be seen on some streaming platforms, but Kota Ibushi is just chilling.
Okay,
right
that's
now.
true.
So
that would be great. I do see with the Don Callis thing, it could be Takeshita, and that way you could, if you take out poor Wheeler Yuta, you could do Mox, Claudio, FTR, and Punk.
Oh my god!
If you wanted
6
to do
on
that,
6?
like that's fucking 5-on-5.
5-on-5. Right. Okay.
That would be huge. But again, like it's the I think it would be a very bad idea to turn FTR heel. Or you can do it. It's like these are our characters. You as the fans decide. Yeah. Like you can have it shades of gray.
We could definitely be just like looking into this way ahead of ourselves, and it could just be Danielson coming back and teaming to fill in the group there. But they clearly are going with the story of Hangman somewhat reuniting with Hangman. It's reminding me of like relationships or like movies, you know, like I'm thinking like cliches in so many movies, like Saturday Night Fever, where it's like he's got this girl that loves him and says, look, I just want to be with you, I love you, and he's like, nah, I want to be with these people, I want to be with this girl, she's a bit more edgier, you know, fucks me around a little bit, but I'm more into her, even though she keeps, you know, giving me that's Hangman with the Dark Order. We just want to love you. We just want to be your friend. We help you out. Yeah, I don't really want to be your friends. But however, the Elite, though, they're still my guys. That's kind of how I see this storyline. So kind of going back into that, it definitely has my attention. Like I'm a complete sucker for any of the Elite like stuff like this, and specifically Hangman just standing there at the end of the show like had me in my feels. So I hope we see somewhat of a reunion.
Just one other note I wanted to make about Dynamite before we move on. I howled when Tony Storm just took the mic and went, "Hi, fat people."
Or when Paige said twat.
Yeah.
But she was fined.
Yeah, we kind of twat, like you get away with it a lot more back home. Like it's
not really a word.
It's
here,
not
though.
as bad a word as like in the US.
The only people who say twat in North America are people not from North America. Right. Like no one ever really calls people that. So I think she did it on purpose, knowing that she would be fined.
I think I first realized it was bad. I think it's in the film Easy A, where Emma Stone's character like calls someone a twat, as they say, and got in trouble. And I was like, what did she say, twat? And I'm looking, she called him a twat. Okay, that's weird.
But yeah, Dynamite was solid, great. I'm sure they'll return to Winnipeg.
It was a weird show. It felt like really like frantic and off the wall, but very enjoyable this week.
Dynamite always feels like that for me,
true.
watching, and I know we had a few listeners who were there in Winnipeg, and I'm sure are excited about the other dates in Canada and stuff. So it was a fun watch on Wednesday. Always delivers for me.
We had a pretty fun SmackDown this Friday. I did get to see the whole show, and this was built around the Owens and Sami reuniting in the middle of the ring. Cody kicking off the show, trying to be mediator,
matchmaker Cody,
bringing out Kevin Owens, telling him how much he respects him, and brings up a real life story about, hey, when I left WWE, you were the one that helped me. Basically saying, you put me on contact with the Bucks, who helped my independent career, and I'll be forever grateful for that. And therefore, I want to do something for you, and reunite you with Sami.
Mm-hmm.
Sami comes out and says, like, hey, we need to take that bloodline. We need to do it together. We've both done bad things to each other, and we don't even need to be friends. Like, we just have to do this. And Kevin's saying, well, why would I team with someone who doesn't consider me a friend? And then there's a bit before Kevin drives off where Sami just says, hey, we've gone through shit, but I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leads to the end of the night where Sami's kind of telling Jey Uso, you've been held hostage by Roman, and he's been using you, and you can be free from this. Jey beats him up. Jimmy beats him up. Kevin comes out for the save. And finally, they embrace. This crowd erupts, and I have a tear in my eye.
Yeah, I've watched the hug quite a few times. Just so good. Love when Kevin drove off in a green car. Happy St. Patrick's Day. He was thinking, oh, did you see MJF's car?
No.
He got a new car for his birthday.
Okay.
That was very sexy. So Kevin drives off in the car, and you knew right away, like, you're coming back. You're coming back. And as soon as the beatdown, I'm like, no, he has to. It's classic, like, wrestling. And I loved it. I still think this is a bigger match than after watching whatever Charlotte and Rhea Ripley's doing. If that's the talk right now, that's supposed to be main event night one, that is absolutely wrong.
I agree, 100%. This should absolutely main event night one.
Last week I was like, oh, is this have the fire? Like, after watching everything else, it's like, well, it, like, obviously Cody Roman, the big main event of night two, but like, what is the other big one?
This is the best story. It's been going on a long time. It's giving Sami that much, and you know what, and the Usos that much earned main event slot. I think this absolutely should main event.
I don't think it is, though.
I don't think it is. I think they're going Rhea and Charlotte, and maybe it's because, oh well, we main event with the men's one night, we should main event with women's. I'd main event with whatever's the hottest match.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely this.
The crowd's super hot. Like, again, you knew leading into this is exactly where the story was gonna go. Well, I don't want to be your friend. Well, I don't want to be your friend either. Guess what? You're gonna be friends by the end of it. It's like,
I love how it took, like, Sami just like being like, look, I love you, like, brother. Like, it was that, like, that hasn't been said the whole time, and that's where Kevin's like, oh,
I think it was like, yeah, look, we can beat them together. If we team up together, that's how we beat them. But even if we don't, like, I just want to know, like, we're always together, and that's kind of what made him go, like, no, I am your brother. Like, yeah.
And I think they've weaved Cody in really effectively. I love him, like, backstage watching TV, like,
the memes.
Yeah. But I think they've weaved him in really well, and they've handled the whole thing really well, because I think Cody was at risk potentially of being booed and the crowd turning against him because they're so into this Sami story. I think they've done a pretty masterful job of serving both, but this should fucking main event though. Was
Cody watching on a pirate feed backstage?
Watch wrestling backstage?
Yeah. Backlash is in Puerto Rico, right? Clearly, that's the six man. Yeah,
absolutely.
I still think Roman's beating Cody Rhodes as much as I want Cody to finish the
story. All the power, all the
glory. Yeah, let's just do that. I love Owens and Sami hugging. Those two are good at the little things as well. It definitely reminds me of some of, like, the elite storytelling with the friends and are they friends and stuff. I'll continue being the devil's advocate. Still wish they did the hug in Montreal.
I after seeing this and seeing it play out, I think they told a more compelling
It's
story
it's
for me.
stretching it out. They have a lot of time
And
to fill, right?
they've kept it interesting on TV. At least for me, they have.
Yeah.
And as nice as and as much as we want to see that hug in Montreal,
Yeah.
maybe parts of the story needed to happen earlier.
Yeah.
And then it's, well, where do we go for the next 6 weeks?
I totally get why, because it's like they had
And
a lot of TV to fill.
I assume Rhea beat Charlotte, but it's kind of all a bit backwards with her being the heel in this. And that just doesn't feel as big a feel-good moment at the end of night one as Sami and Kevin holding gold, embracing confetti, the lot.
Yeah,
and the
I feel like it makes
first
sense.
stone of this Roman Empire has crumbled.
Yeah, Charlotte's. I'm a Charlotte fan, but it's definitely not like I just don't understand. I watched the promo she cut. I'm like, sorry, are you trying to be the babyface?
Yeah,
when Rhea is one of the most popular characters going right now, just because Rhea is like heel in the Dom thing doesn't mean she needs to be. It's basically the Jamie Hayter. She's gonna get the Jamie Hayter effect by the end of her winning.
Absolutely,
It's just gonna be cheering for her because we don't care about Charlotte right now.
Yeah, she's getting better reactions than I thought she would as a babyface. It all seems very backwards.
The match is going to be awesome.
The match will be great. I think they had probably the best in-ring match during that empty arena WrestleMania.
But Rhea is like becoming one of their bigger stars. You always see she's the one people are talking about online, memes and everything.
And maybe that's part of it, why they want to main event, because they see she's so young as well still.
Okay.
They see her as the future, and is that more of an investment having her close a WrestleMania with the title and this is our star, more so than a feel-good moment with Kevin and Sami? I'd go with the Kevin and Sami thing, but I could maybe understand their arguments from it.
I don't understand putting Charlotte in the main event.
So also a bit of news came out this week with Bray Wyatt. A few conflicting reports. He'd been missing some house shows. Rumors started round that he's walked due to creative differences. Fightful put out a report saying that that doesn't seem to be true, and he's dealing with a physical issue, which I found the wording interesting. They didn't necessarily state an injury, but a physical issue, which seems to, at this point, have taken him out of WrestleMania. There were no Bray vignettes or anything at all this week. Bobby Lashley then putting out a tweet saying, basically, I don't care who I'm facing. I want someone at WrestleMania. So this whole Bray Wyatt, like, you could make a documentary on his entire WWE career because it's been all over the place.
Yeah, since his return, I just really think they dropped the ball. Whatever, we'll figure out who was the ball dropper when it comes down to it at the end of the day. But right now, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him wrestle. The storylines have been really silly. The Uncle Howdy thing now is what, after all this, you poor people watching this for weeks on weeks thinking it was going somewhere and it doesn't. Imagine it never goes anywhere.
I kind of, maybe I feel bad for Bobby Lashley. Maybe I don't. Maybe this is better for him. I mean, if he gets put up against Uncle Howdy as the match, that sounds terrible. I think the most logical thing would just be put Bobby in the Brock and Omos match. Ugh. Like, they're all kind of tied together. Yeah. But whether Brock would sign off on that because he wants the singles
again
match.
we don't know. Maybe something happened with Bray. Maybe he was pissed off. Maybe someone said something to him. Maybe something happened. Like, we don't know at this point.
Or it could just be an injury, but from what?
Yeah.
He's wrestled one match on TV, pay-per-view.
He's wrestled quite a few dark matches, but
it's putting LA Knight through a table.
In a glow stick match.
I saw that match with Jesse. Like, I've seen that dark match. He ain't taking any offense. He ain't taking any bumps.
Yeah.
Like, how did he get injured?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Who would you put Bobby against at this point?
I don't care.
I don't know who there is though. Like, unless it's Uncle Howdy or you insert him in. Yeah. Like, add him in the Brock match. I don't know.
Like, the Brock match is already the washroom break match, like, for me. So
I like Lashley. I think he's done a lot in the last couple of years to, like, raise his stock with me. Yeah. And I think it's kind of shitty that he got put in this Bray feud, which, by the sounds of it, a few people who maybe politic a bit better were like, nope, not doing that. Yeah. Well, shall we talk maybe a bit about the rest of the WrestleMania card, as it seems to be coming together now.
Yeah, Gunther,
Yep,
triple threat.
triple threat.
Yeah, that could be crazy, man.
That should be really good. I think I'm so happy with this Gunther run that we're getting, proper Walter on main roster. And he's got a huge, WrestleMania match. Who'd have thought it just a few years ago, watching him doing these, stealing, WrestleMania weekends on the indies, but being like, he'll go to WWE and they'll put him in lederhosen and he'll dance and stuff.
They'll make him job to Roman, real quick, which they did, right? I see this guy being a bigger deal in WWE by next year.
He's especially with ending that Rumble with him and Cody. Yeah. If Cody does win this title, him and Gunther for the title.
They've been Triple H knows what he's got with Gunther and hopefully keeps this going. He could lose at Mania. That's a good way of not having him being pinned, right? It's like the triple threat kind of thing and giving Shamey that big win.
Give it Sheamus. Sheamus pins Drew. Yeah, maybe.
Something like that. But Imperium are great too. Right now, I see that them going forward is a pretty big deal in wrestling. But this triple threat match sounds awesome. Just any iteration of these three fighting, we've seen it, whether it's the indies before, in WWE, NXT, whatever. I can't wait. This one sounds good.
Yeah, I'm very. I think I'd have preferred a singles, but I think these three will.
Usually you're like, I just want to see the singles, but you're like, okay, well, we've seen some singles, and now
this is one where I feel like all three deserve to be in the match. Yeah. So okay, make it triple threat.
Something tells me this one will be a hot opener, maybe.
Yeah, you could open one of them with that. And I think it was announced that maybe on Raw or something, Marcel Bartel is taking on Cody, right?
Friday?
Yeah. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
We've kind of mentioned how we're not too thrilled about Charlotte v. Rhea. I think a match with an even worse build, but I think will absolutely slap when it comes to the match, is Asuka Bianca Belair.
Yeah, the build is whatever.
The build is Asuka dribbles blue.
Right. She's
that's been it. She stands in the ring and dribbles some blue liquid, and that's basically been the build.
Her mouthwash just dripping out of her mouth.
Yeah.
The match is gonna be crazy.
The match is gonna be great.
Is Bianca beating Asuka? Because that's 3 WrestleManias in a row of just beating legendary women's champions.
Is she undefeated at Mania at this point?
Apart
from when she was in NXT and did the Battle Royal, but in singles matches.
The past 2 years she's main evented and won.
Yeah. I'd keep her on Bianca and build to something bigger for SummerSlam.
I'm kind of hyped
Bianca
for this
Charlotte
match.
For SummerSlam.
I think as soon as the entrances start, checking out the story line wise, this match.
This is one you don't need to watch any of the story building.
Exactly.
Because it's really been pretty weak.
I love both Asuka and Bianca, so I this could be a main event really. But Bianca's main evented twice already.
Edge versus Finn Balor's been booked, and it's been confirmed it's going to be a Hell in a Cell match.
This is pretty crazy.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, there was rumors of this being at a few months back, but now just
Royal Rumble. This is planned.
This is pretty sweet. When was the last time we got a WrestleMania Hell in a Cell? Was it Shane
and Taker? Yeah, 32.
So yeah,
and this kind of coincides with reports of Triple H doing away with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and wants to keep it for special matches. I'd say this is a feud that kind of warrants it. They've been
this could be a main
for a long time. They caved in Edge's wife's head with the chair, so I think that's enough to justify Hell in a Cell. And Finn teasing the Demon as well, so I think it's going to be Demon Finn versus Edge.
Oh well, then Edge has no chance then.
Yeah, I know.
Although the Demon has been beaten, so really, what does it matter?
This sounds cool. I'm looking forward to this. Their I Quit match was a little ridiculous, but I did enjoy it. I think this could be, and Edge really proved himself in that Seth Hell in a Cell.
Where the hell is Alter Bridge not announced?
No,
come on.
Need to.
Now's the time. Now, do it now. Alter Bridge, what's the deal?
We've got Austin Theory taking on John Cena for the US title.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not too big into Theory. Right, he was fine when we watched him in Evolve in NXT. I don't know, something about him right now. I'm just not too invested. Selfishly, as a fan of Cena, I get why they're doing this match, but there's a few other people I would have probably slotted in.
I mean,
there
if you
instead.
went Sammy and Roman, you'd have gone Cody Cena. I think would have been the match.
Oh my god.
Um,
Could America handle such a match?
hopefully this can elevate Austin Theory,
Yeah.
and I don't see Cena winning this.
No.
Because I don't think he'll be doing much dates after. So yeah, we'll see. I hope this is one where I do like Austin Theory. I'm in the rare camp. I don't think he's there yet, but I completely see why they are trying to go with this guy. I get, young Randy Orton vibes from him, and I've been saying that since Evolve. So we'll see with this one. What else? And then the Trish Leader and Becky versus Damage Control.
That's cool. I get to see Io Shirai tangle up with Trish and Lita. Like, yeah,
Battle of the Moonsaults.
I'm totally into that match. I'm one of Io's biggest fans, and she's getting on WrestleMania, so I can't really complain.
They've announced there's going to be 2 meaningless fatal 4-way tag matches called WrestleMania Showcase matches. I don't know if this is instead of the Battle Royal. Last year, I think they did like a WrestleMania SmackDown and did the Battle Royal on there. I could see them maybe doing that and keeping the Battle Royal off the card. I don't think there's much to say about these. They mean nothing.
Do they even have tag teams in WWE other than the Usos?
I mean, this is going to be a way to get Street Profits on the card, I guess. I imagine Ludwig and Fabian.
Yeah. Fabio.
Yeah. American Alpha. Sorry, Alpha Academy.
Right.
I mean, it could be a fun match, but ultimately doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, WrestleMania is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
like
looking forward to
2 nights spread across. Oh, don't forget Seth versus Logan Paul.
Oh yeah.
Sponsored by Prime, I'm sure, in somehow, some way. He'll definitely come out with the Prime drink, which I've tried.
That's not on the Wikipedia yet, but that's weird. But yeah, that has been announced. I think that would be great.
They said, Wikipedia says that's announced for night 1.
Oh, okay.
So maybe, I don't see that main eventing at all, but that is the night 1 match.
That would be a good sort of middle of the show,
Yeah.
like inject some energy into it. I think that's going to be really good.
Wasn't it with you that we tried a Prime?
I've not tried a Prime, no.
Someone had one, and I can't remember. Was it Tom? Someone was like, "Hey, try this." So I tried it, and it tastes like a blue, one of those freezies with the 3 colors.
Oh,
it tastes just like
white
it.
freezy? Kind of?
Yeah, well, I could understand, but every time, like, if I ever go for an energy drink, if I know I need it, like I buy a Red Bull or a Monster, but this is like double the price everywhere.
Would it be more like a Monster or more like a Gatorade?
There's 2 types.
Okay.
There's like a energy one, and then there's like a sports drink
Okay.
one. So yeah, but everywhere you go, it's like if you're Red Bull or Monster or whatever is like $2 or $3. This Prime is like 6 or 10 in some places. I'm like, what the hell? Crazy.
I mean, good marketing.
Yeah, good for
power
him.
to them. They've definitely got the kids.
No,
with
I
this
mean,
shit.
while on the
Yeah.
subject, I don't really give a shit about the Paul brothers, really, but the marketing for this, they had a picture with Logan Paul and KSI like posing, and someone photoshopped it and made it look like the one guy is a lot shorter, drinking near the other guy's crotch.
Right.
They then took that and put that as marketing, and everyone online was like, "Look at these idiots!" Someone like thing. I'm like, they just got you. Like I saw it being posted everywhere, and everyone's like, "Oh, what is this thing?"
No, they're definitely doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then a bit in the news today, this week, John Cena was asked about like the Vince McMahon allegations and him being back in the company, and Cena basically saying, "Hey, like, he made mistakes. We've all made mistakes, but I still love him. Like, he's someone who's done a lot for me, and I love the guy."
Yeah, this seemed to be like stirring up some controversy this week. I guess it was slow news week or something like that. I feel like people, from what I've seen when I saw this was trending this week and went on Twitter and saw people like, "Oh, how could you, Cena? What's wrong with you? How could like what do you expect this guy to come out and say? No, screw Vince McMahon." And like, yeah, in a perfect world, we all are on the same page how we feel about Vince McMahon, but like,
yeah, I've seen a lot of criticism for it. I kind of say, if something were to come out with you, for instance, like, I'm not gonna publicly condemn you. Like, I can condemn the actions, which Cena kind of did, but it's like, I still love you. Like, it's a hard... I get it. Maybe, I mean, we're not in the position of John Cena. Like, I think he could have been a bit more diplomatic and tactful with his comments, because you know it's going to stir up something. But also, I don't blame him for not wanting to publicly condemn someone who made him, who's a father figure to him. So I don't see it as big I think this will blow over as well.
Absolutely.
Like, it's blown over with Vince. It will absolutely blow over with Cena.
Yeah, it's like, why are we all of a sudden getting angry at this guy? Let's not be angry at him. Let's remind ourselves that we should be angry at Vince.
And power to this journalist. Like, more people need to be at like this, at these press scrums and things.
Yeah.
Stop asking, how did it feel when you made your entrance? Like these are the kind of questions you should be asking. And like, power to the journalist for asking.
Also, like, Danielson said very similar comments like a month ago, and I didn't see that anywhere. Yeah. So it's just kind of selective outrage, as Chris Rock says.
Yeah, I mean, Danielson is very much someone who, I mean, he's had it as part of his promos. Like, he, like, sees flaws in people and accepts them for who they are. Like, his relationship with his dad was very much that, with his battle with being an alcoholic, and with William Regal during that story. So I don't blame these guys for saying what they said.
Again, don't be like, why are we getting upset at these like Vince is, you know, as a fan, someone who's watched Vince McMahon for a long time, and reading these stories and hearing these things, like, at myself, my views are like, man, this guy did a lot of shady shit, and I'm kind of happy he's maybe not involved in wrestling, which we never really know these days. But like, I'm not mad at Cena for being like, well, I mean, this guy made me. Like, I'm not going to just shit on him all of a sudden.
We did throw on Ariel Helwani's interview with The Undertaker the other day.
Which was great.
I thought was pretty interesting.
Which was
and there
awesome.
were some interesting, like, sound bites in that. And Taker was pretty much the same. Like, he almost, like, laughed off the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was like, Vince weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, like,
I told him, it's like, okay, you're retiring on a tweet? Nah. Like, you're coming back.
Yeah.
And Vince was like, no, I think it is. It's it. He's like, no, you're coming back.
Yeah, it's all really weird. People love to go after, well, how could you defend? It's like, yo, be angry at this person, or like, people just like to bicker.
I would say, like,
angry.
you haven't seen, like, Harvey Weinstein made a lot of people as well. Yeah. You know?
Dude,
and you haven't seen people go, oh, well, you know, I wouldn't be where I am without Harvey Weinstein. Like, he made some mistakes, but I love that guy. So I do think the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, Cena probably should have been better prepared for the question and came up with a more, like, fan-pleasing answer. But as I said, I don't blame someone for not, like, unconditional love's a thing, you know?
Yeah, I think to Seth Rogen, the past few years, he hasn't really talked about James Franco, and they don't work together, and he basically does not talk about James Franco, which makes me go, come on, you're in like millions of movies together, you're clearly friends, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I gotta distance myself because it could affect like how people view him, and it's a whole thing. But to dogpile on John Cena is kind of strange. Did he say the right things? Maybe he didn't, but come on.
I mean, there's always stuff like, look, you know, I'm here to promote WrestleMania. I'm not here to talk about that, or like a no comment or something. But like, he decided to answer. Yeah. The Bella Twins have departed WWE and moving forward will be going by the Garcia Twins. They have stated they will not be going to AEW. They were there to just, watch Bryan in his main event. Right. But I know you're huge Bella fans, and I think the writing was on the wall after that Raw, was it Raw 30 or whatever it was they did, where they were backstage and then they weren't used, and they were kind of put out some videos being like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah. We've flown to this thing and not big news.
I'm funny with the Bella Twins. I got the little devil on my shoulder and the little angel on my shoulder. The positives and the negatives. The positives, you cannot take away like what the Bellas did with Total Divas and bringing in and getting a lot of new eyes and ears to the product following Total Divas and the Bellas and stuff like that. Like that helped bring them in, and they are a name and all that stuff. But when it comes to the wrestling, I could give no fucks to see them in a ring, to ever watch them wrestle, to really care about their thoughts on, oh, we weren't booked on Raw 30. Okay, what's the best moment on Raw? You were not in the womb or whatever, the womb thing, which was pretty funny. I think they are worth something. And like to AEW, them saying, oh, we're not going to AEW. Okay, well, what's the name change? Why would you like leave? Are you just doing this to go on more TV shows, which they do as well? But I don't care to see them wrestling, but I do think they still have a role in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nikki was the better in ring of the two, but her neck is pretty messed up where she is retired in ring.
Yeah.
So I don't see there's value of them as in ring competitors. But you're right, they do bring some. You're doing this this all access show.
Yeah.
Like the Bellas would bring eyes to that. And I'd say the Bellas would be more beneficial in some aspects to an AEW than a Taya Valkyrie, than an Athena, who are way better wrestlers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But are people going, wow, Ember Moon is now in AEW? I've got to watch that show.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but we saw there's proof of that Total Divas show. We've talked to girls who know nothing about wrestling who know the Bella Twins.
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like that Total Bella show. I quite like that Total Divas, Nikki and Brie. There is value there to them. I see it maybe being, hey, this is a way we can do our other projects. We can, what they doing? Bar Wars? What was the thing Nikki was doing?
That's still attached to WWE names.
Well, that's what I mean. We can do all this stuff and we don't need to give anything away to WWE. We now stand as our own, independently as the Garcias, and we don't have to give WWE a cut of any of this.
Yeah, again, I really don't care for the Bella Twins as much, like wrestling wise. Like that's not something for me. But you're totally right. Like if they go, hey, Athena's wrestling on Dynamite this week, we better. It's like, well, the Bellas do have this like bigger net of.
She's
outside.
not bringing anyone.
Yeah, like the net outside of wrestling is something that does work. And again, if they could figure out a way of or a role in some way, shape, or form, which I'm sure also would make a lot of fans groan as well. But like when it comes to just like them promoting something, they say they're not going to AEW, so that just means what? They're going to go back more acting. They're going to go to New Japan. They're going to have those dream matches in Stardom. You know what I mean? Really, they're the Garcia Twins. We need the House of Black better watch their back, because the Garcia Twins teaming with Daniel Garcia.
Oh,
House of Garcia
trios. Yeah,
book it.
Love it.
Yeah,
that sounds fantastic.
So like I definitely see two sides of the coin there, of like the Bellas could bring some things there, but I genuinely do not want to watch them wrestle.
And then on to like more difficult stuff to talk about. Davey Richards being in the news quite a bit over the last couple of days. We suddenly saw all these like independent wrestling companies cutting ties with him, pulling him away. He did wrestle the OTT show on Friday, because that was like just mere hours after all this was coming out, and that was the show where Mox was originally pulled from, and then Eddie Kingston. So Davey Richards did fulfill that date. I believe didn't wrestle on the Saturday.
They pulled him
from the Saturday show, but then coming out that there are domestic abuse allegations against him, as well as like bullying within his training camp. And since he's come out and denied the allegations, but has said, for the betterment of the sport, I am going to announce my retirement, as I don't want this to put a black mark on pro wrestling.
Yeah, kind of a weird thing. I'm not guilty, but I'm going away. It's like, okay, all right. But yeah.
Well, I think like, yeah, I mean, that's any company that is booking him during this time are going to get a lot of criticism and stuff.
Sure.
So from a PR point of view, I think that was probably the right move, what he did. Obviously these are allegations. Nothing is proven or whatever, but yeah, this isn't what you want to really be reading. Like,
I feel like
out thing happened a few years ago, which was like a huge black mark in
especially wrestling. OTT.
Exactly. Right?
Like I know this story was everywhere before that match, and I think a lot of people kind of giving them criticism, like, hey, you could have stopped that match from happening. But to them, they're like, yo, we're fucked right now.
They're in a lose-lose situation when it comes to that kind of thing. And I think maybe that was the right thing, like pulling him after that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, very...
I feel like we haven't seen him in wrestling for quite a little while. I know he's popped
He
up here and
retired
there.
for a bit,
Yeah.
didn't he? And then he's got like a full-time job
Yeah.
as well. But he's been like the last year really been coming back.
Yeah, we recently were talking about we just did a review of NXT 200, which his only WWE NXT appearance really, with him and Eddie Edwards, or whatever names they went with. So we were just recently discussing him, but I was a fan. But you know what? Going to indie shows for the better 10 years plus, a lot of fans kind of would say, "Oh, this guy's a dick."
Right.
So I'm not saying that's here, that's just hearsay of, oh, this guy's an asshole, but like years removed, everyone seems to be on the same page of, okay, he's at least going away.
Yeah.
So I mean, is that a good thing? I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, instead of just denying things and kind of twisting the knife, if you will, of like certain things of certain other people.
I wonder with him just like flat out stepping away, whether we'll really hear much of this story beyond this anymore. Because whereas we've seen the likes of, Elgin and Joey Ryan, who are trying everything they can do to stay in the business and relevant or whatever, despite like so many accusations against them.
I saw someone
I can see us not really hearing about this story.
Yeah. I saw someone on Twitter saying Joey Ryan's been doing like extra acting work in like a bunch of movies and Hulu shows, and like people might not know who've been hiring him and stuff like that, which is also interesting. But again, I don't think this guy was doing really much. He was doing indie. Davey Richards doing indie stuff, and I think that's it for him.
Yeah, and then finally, there was an interview with Mercedes Mone recently. It came out on The Observer that she doesn't have any other New Japan / Stardom dates booked beyond the match with Mayu Iwatani on April 23rd. Also saying that she has not and will not say anything about her departure from WWE, which those kind of comments lead me to think I am very much keeping that door open, and maybe I'm scratching a bit of that Japan itch before I eventually go back. But kind of adding some fuel to the fire when she said, "Oh, sorry, when is Forbidden Door?"
Yeah.
So yeah, what is the future of Mercedes Mone?
She's going home.
Yeah.
She's going back to the Fed. She had a great excursion. She's going home.
I think it's a shame she hasn't got more matches under a belt with Japan. Like Julia is definitely the match I wanted to see.
Yeah.
The Mayu match is going to be great. The Kairi match was great. But it's a shame she didn't maybe have a few more. She's facing Azumi as well at Sakura Genesis, which should be really good. It's the Shuri match I would have wanted, and the Julia match I would have wanted.
I kind of hope there is some more matches. I know she's saying, "Oh, these dates are done," but like, well, money can be.
Yeah, she could do, and maybe she wouldn't want to appear on an AEW show because she doesn't want that to like jeopardize her chances with WWE potentially. But she's kind of teasing that. Oh, what date is Forbidden Door?
Right.
That's June. You could go back, SummerSlam, make your WWE.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Resurgence.
Yeah, why not? I think she's realizing, hey, if they do me properly in WWE, then I could be the biggest thing going there, which I do see her eventually returning. But I would love to see her versus Britt Baker at Forbidden Door.
I think Britt would be the match. I booked that maybe more so than the Jamie match.
Yeah.
I think both have similar kind of characters.
I think Britt could lose, that's why, and Jamie right now shouldn't.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Yeah. Money.
Well, that's it. There was an announcement Friday about the dream match, Kenny versus Elio Del Vikingo.
Oh, man.
Which is taking place on Wednesday, which is fucking nutty. Finally getting this match
on
free TV.
There was rumors that, they brought in Commander for that ladder match, that they were trying to get Vikingo for the ladder match, but it wouldn't make sense to bring in like Triple A's champion to just lose in a multi-man match. So they brought in Commander, and now the streets are saying WWE saw Commander and went, "Hey, you're not signed? What's going on? How are you?" Because all these outlets, I think Sports Illustrated even put out a thing on Commander. So we're seeing him in a few weeks at Demand Lucha versus Gringo Loco, which we are super thrilled about. But yeah, Vikingo announced Kenny Omega versus Vikingo, the match we were supposed to get. I'm loving
it's non-title, right?
Yeah, non-title. The discourse everywhere.
So Kenny's winning.
Yeah, the discourse everywhere is, oh, what's the storyline of this match? I'm like, if you don't know who this person is, like, wouldn't you just be like, okay, cool.
You will by Wednesday. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, why when WWE used to do stuff like this when they were hot, you know, and they bring in some random talent that you'd be like, oh, sorry, who's this guy they're bringing in? And then you watch the match, you're like, oh, I understand why they brought in.
What, for example,
who's this Rob Van Dam? Sorry, why does he need to face Jeff Hardy? Oh, okay, let's just watch it.
I mean, I'd say that is different because that was part of the invasion angle and stuff. I don't know if WWE have really. I wouldn't say they've really done this
late in the last
ever
15 years. Yeah,
when have they done?
No. Like back in the day, they would bring in talent that weren't signed, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking a long time ago. They would not do this now. Obviously, we know who we watch a lot of stuff. We love Vikingo. We check out a lot of his AAA stuff. We check out a lot of his indie stuff. As of late, he's been killing it with certain GCW matches and so forth. But he is a talent like to watch. And yeah, as being the kind of, you know, wrestling nerds that we are, the second they announced this, me and you were like, oh shit. But there must be people who don't know about it.
I hope they give this the time that the main event got this week. The main event this week went 20 minutes plus your entrances and stuff. I do the same this week, have it as the main event, have a lot of time. And then it's how you capitalize. Because I'd say, for example, you saying about just bringing in people and like, the idea is, okay, there's not really a build, but you'll know who these guys are after.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that Bandido Jericho match. I'd say they have absolutely failed on capitalizing on Bandido after that match. But you can certainly grab attention. I'm not saying this is going to be a ratings draw.
Yeah.
But I think people who watch this match will absolutely know who this guy is.
Exactly. Yeah. Is this going to get a lot of new, you know, break a mill just because it's this guy? No, it's not. But once you watch it, you're rest assured you're going to see a lot of people who've never seen this guy be like, oh my God, what was that?
And is this Kenny's first TV singles match since his injury?
This is his first singles match in so long.
I think he had one on Dark, did he not? But like actual TV singles, this is his first since last year, since Hangman.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this match. So Wednesday's Happy Vikingo versus Kenny Day, because it'll definitely be a pretty sweet match to check out, and we'll be definitely chatting about it in the next little while.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm trying to think. The Giant Panda returned to wrestling. That's another dream match. I hope we see the Giant Panda show up at Forbidden Door. Okay. Trying to think what else. Just Five Guys Burgers.
Oh yeah, Sonata's joining them. Yeah,
works at Five Guys now.
Absolutely,
great fries.
I hear everyone saying change the name. No, absolutely not.
Just Five Guys,
Just
and
Five
we're having
Guys.
a good time.
Yeah,
having a good time. Yeah. I like Five Guys. It's like almost bottomless bag fries.
Yeah.
Everyone loves I love bag fries, so I'm supporting Five Guys. I'm trying to think of anything else that was going on. Yeah, New Japan did that show. WrestleMania season's kind of in full gear. AEW's kicking around. That Canada tour has definitely got our attention, being in the north here, so we're super excited about that. I saw a tweet from Michael Buffer, famous ring announcer.
Of course.
He tweeted yesterday at 3:29 p.m. After so many fans mentioned 2001 WrestleMania 17 as the best ever, I decided and I watched it last night, and maybe they're right. It was unbelievable. The Rock versus Stone Cold and Undertaker versus Triple H was as great as it gets. Everything else was gravy and awesome. # let's get ready to rumble. He finally watched WrestleMania 17.
Finally got around to it.
He's like, huh.
It's like us when we we'll finally watch Godfather Part 2 one day. We're like, yeah.
I finally watched Shawshank.
Pretty good.
And I was like, oh, it's pretty good. Like when I finally get you to watch Encino Man one day.
Yeah, I only first heard about that film like 6 months ago, and now I seem to hear about it every day. It's very bizarre how the world works.
Another note, we were discussing that Ariel Undertaker interview, and Ariel asked him about the streak, and he was like, oh, Vince wanted a few different people, and he mentioned Edge turned it down. He also mentioned that Vince wanted Vladimir Kozlov to break the streak. And what are the odds that Vladimir Kozlov returned to wrestling this week on Impact Wrestling with Santino Marella. So
wow, we
we'll
saved the biggest news to the end.
well,
there.
maybe we really will get Vladimir versus Undertaker one more time.
He's the guy that was doing commentary for a while, wasn't he? Like terrible commentary.
Really? I
think
remember
so.
that.
He was on. I think it's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was on Talk and Shop and stuff like that. Right.
Well, that was everything going on. Those are our thoughts on everything. We will be back Tuesday night on the Post Wrestling feed for a new Up Next. Be sure to tune in for that. We'll be going live after NXT on the Post Wrestling YouTube, and then the audio on the Post Wrestling podcast feed. We'll also be giving our thoughts on NXT, but we'll also chat about our GCW experience later today. And follow this feed because we might have some interviews in the near future, including Gringo Loco. We've definitely discussed how we're big fans of him, and we go to Demand Lucha in the city. Well, he's here for GCW, so we're hoping to get some chat in with him. But yeah, hit that subscribe on this podcast feed, like all that stuff. It goes a very, very long way. And we're excited going into WrestleMania season. We got our watch parties in the city. We got Forbidden Door being announced. Toronto's going to have everything. We're going to be partying it up with you guys, and we can't say thanks enough for supporting and following us along.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're going to go to GCW. We're going to be on our worst behavior. Follow us at Poisonrana Pod, Twitter, Instagram, poisonrana.ca for the landing page for all the links of everything we do. I think that's it.
That is all.
That's all. Take care, goodbye, and be safe.
Ahoy!
Mazel Tov.
Poisonrana.